I'm going to help you out with knowing what pedals to get for your guitar playing. I'm going to save you all the trying and testing that I've done through the past and help you out with what guitar pedals you should buy. What matters more than the pedals is your actual playing itself. You can use guitar pedals to hide a lot of technique flaws, which I did as well over the years, and I'm still to this day trying to correct. So the first thing I would say before looking into getting pedals is try and work on getting a good sound from just your amp by itself first, and then build and add onto that. Now, a lot of the time you see a lot of guitar players with a huge plethora of pedals, like loads of guitar pedals, and I've been one of those guitar players in the past as well. Just having this huge plethora of pedals, thinking, well, at least it's there if I need it. And what I find ends up happening is you end up getting brain overload and option paralysis, so much so that there's so many options that it's actually so hard to actually find a sound that you want from the pedals. So I'm going to tell you how to get the sound depending on what style you want. You literally need 4 pedals tops to get a great sound out of a guitar. And even at that, you can get a great sound from 1 pedal and an amp. The first pedal that I would recommend would actually be a drive pedal. It just adds some warmth to your playing. Let me demonstrate now with a drive pedal off and then a drive pedal on. So I'm on a clean setting. And let's switch the drive pedal on. That's with the drive set low as well. I'm going to set it even lower. I'm going to literally have the drive off, but the pedal on. So it's kind of more adding a tonal aspect and just driving the tubes in the amp a little bit more. Just kind of not adding overdrive as in the actual distortion feel to it. It's just adding some warmth now. And if I turn the drive off, that's just the clean channel on the amp. So drive can really add a lot just in itself. And then you can also crank that as well and put the drive setting up as in the actual drive knob. And it adds gain to it basically. You can do so much with just an amp and a drive pedal. You can literally get loads of sounds out of that. The particular one I was using, I'm using a Modler, and that is based off a Tube Screamer. So first one, and it's the go-to, the Tube Screamer. There's loads of great drives, but the Tube Screamer is standard go-to. So the next pedal after a drive that I would say add to your setting, and I would change my mind on a drive depending on a certain style, but I'll get to that shortly. The next pedal after a drive, I would say, and most guitarists would say, would be a reverb pedal. So I'm just going to put some play now. I'm going to play clean. I've turned the drive off. And now I'm going to add a reverb to it. And with the reverb off, it basically adds room ambience. And I'm going to turn the mix of the reverb up now and then turn it back on. And I'm going to turn it back off. So reverb can be used to make the room that you're playing in sound bigger, like a larger space. It's not an echo, so don't get it confused with echo. A lot of people do. It's for creating room sound. Some rooms that you play in, you can get like some dead sounding rooms, which the reverb will especially help in. Sometimes you can play in a room that has got such good natural reverb you don't actually need to turn your reverb pedal on at all, but it's just handy to have there for creating that kind of like bigger, wider room space. It can add a lot of depth to your playing. And then the final pedal that I would say to add would be a delay as well. So I'm going to play clean with a delay off, first of all. And then clean with delay on. I've turned the reverb off as well. So this is clean with the delay on. And I'm going to turn the mix of the delay up just a tiny bit. Tiniest bit. Delay is my favorite pedal. It just adds, again, it can kind of like add a lot of ambience, kind of like reverb, but it's different. But you can also do some interesting and cool things with delay as well when you set it certain ways. Slap back delay. You can create like this cool like ping ponging effect where guitar can kind of start like harmonizing with itself. Almost like it's playing two notes at once. Delay actually sounds amazing as well when you utilize it on a clean channel with reverb at the same time. You really can get this like spacey sound with it. It sounds so lush. That leads me to what guitar pedals should you buy? The answer is 3 pedals. And anything more than that, that's up to you. But I would say don't go down that route because you can get so carried away that you get option paralysis. Try not to get sucked in as well with novelty pedals, like ones that make really strange sounds. Like the chances of you using them are so slim. Fuzz pedals are cool as well, but I don't need them for what I'm doing. So 3 pedals in particular, in this order as well. These will work for almost any style. Overdrive pedal, of which I would recommend Tube Screamer by Ibanez or Maxon. Reverb pedal, so like an MXR reverb pedal or even like a Boss reverb pedal. You can get some really expensive ones, but you can get a great sound out of like some lower price ones too. And then a delay pedal. For me, I love the MXR Carbon Copy delay, but the Boss delay pedals are great as well. You can do so much with them. Like I'll play a little bit now, and I'll play with the settings. I'm just gonna leave the reverb and the delay as is, but I'm gonna play a little bit with the settings on the Tube Screamers just so you can see how much you can literally do with that Tube Screamer. So I'll stay on the clean channel of the amp. Tube Screamer is on. Every alteration that I made there was just on the Tube Screamer. I didn't touch the amp at all. Now, check this out. So if you, let's say you want a heavier sound, you go into the distorted channel of your amp, so the driven channel. So I'm on a Mesa Boogie. So this is with the drive off. Sounds great. I'm going to turn the delay and reverb off for this one. Okay, now I'm going to turn the drive pedal on. I'm going to have the drive just all the way down. So I'm literally going to use it for just tonal properties now. It'll really cut through this because I turned the tone like almost right to the top. Now I'm going to start turning the tone to all the way off. And on the center. And turn the pedal off. It kind of just gives it more punch, makes it warmer. And that's with the drive knob turned all the way down, so you can actually turn it up as well, and it'll kind of make it a lot heavier. And turn the delay and reverb on. You can get such a good lead sound with just a drive, delay and reverb. But I would recommend, before you start really just getting those pedals, invest in your playing a little bit, so that your playing doesn't get disguised by the pedals. Now, if you're playing metal stuff, a distortion pedal can come in very handy as well, because distortion works in a different way to what drive does. Drive is a lot drier and distortion is wetter. If you're doing metal stuff and you want kind of you can get a lot more of a wetter sound out of your lead playing, which works really well for the legato stuff and the high gain stuff on with a distortion pedal for metal stuff. So I've switched to a Boss distortion, just a simple DS1 distortion, and just a wetter sound. So distortion can come in handy, and if you're doing metal stuff, you could substitute the drive for the distortion pedal, but it does come in handy to have both. So literally the only three guitar pedals that you need to get really is a drive or a distortion pedal, a reverb, and a delay. Try not to rely on them. Try and just get a great sound from your amp. Like, turn all the pedals off and this Mesa Boogie amp, I mean, this is a modeler that I'm using, but this sounds great just as is. And then on a clean setting, you can get a beautiful sound without any pedals. So there's your answer. Drive, reverb, delay. I hope that helps you. If you could let me know what pedals you enjoy in the comments below, that'd be great. If you want any more help with regards to some guitar pedals, just hit me up in the comments below. I'm here to help. If you could like the video, subscribe to the channel, and all that fancy stuff, that'd be amazing. In the meantime, keep on rocking, and I'll catch you soon.